Hi again, everyone. Gary Digital Williams here on Boxing Along the Beltway. Our news and notes for this week, and we actually have a good bit of news and notes to give you. A couple of recaps, a couple of cards that took place in the state of Pennsylvania over the last few days, and we'll give you updates. A lot of Beltway boxers involved with that. We've got some amateur updates, including the start of the Golden Gloves, Washington Golden Gloves, and we have the entire schedule for the Golden Gloves to get you up to date on. And then we have a very interesting story that may affect Olympic boxing in 2020. And it's a pretty strange story, so we're going to go over that a little bit in this podcast as well. Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you as always by Real Time Pain Relief, from boxers to ballerinas. For shoulder pain, the muscle strain, everything in between, Boxing Along the Beltway recommends Real Time Pain Relief, the natural plant-based, safe, fast, and effective ointment. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real Time Pain Relief. Rub it on, the pain is gone in real time. Well, a couple of events took place this past week in Philadelphia and in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. This past Tuesday night at the Sands Bethlehem Event Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, three Beltway boxers were on the King's Promotions card there, and had 2 out of 3 in that situation. First of all, another solid performance for undefeated Forestville, Maryland junior welterweight Michael the Professor Fox. He remained undefeated with an 8-round unanimous decision over Ricardo Garcia out of the Dominican Republic. Good performance for Fox from what I've heard and people have told me. I've seen a little bit of highlights of it, and he did look very, very nice. He was able to knock Garcia down in the 7th round. He ended up winning the bout by scores of 78-73 twice and 77-74. Now, Michael Professor Fox back in 2016 was one of our prospects of the year, and he was one of the honorable mention candidates for Boxer of the Year. In 2017, he had an outstanding year. He continues to fight very, very well. His competition is starting to really get up to a different level now, and Fox is able so far to be able to handle that. Fox is now undefeated, 16-0, 4 KOs. Garcia falls to 14-2, 9 KOs. He's lost his last 2 bouts. But again, a really solid performance over a very game opponent for Michael the Professor Fox. Meanwhile, Owings Mills, Maryland heavyweight Kobe Mad Dog Madison won a 6-round unanimous decision over Dante Selby out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Now, Madison had to fight a cut on the bridge of his nose, and went on to the victory there. Madison now 6-0-1, 4 KOs. Selby is 2-4-1. No word on the scores for that one, but a good win for Kobe Madison. Tough loss for Malik Little League Lofton out of Suitland, Maryland. He's a featherweight. Lost a 4-round unanimous decision to Martino Jules of Allentown, Pennsylvania. It seemed like a close fight, however, though. Lofton lost by scores of 39-38 and 38-37 twice. So he got at least an even card on one of the judges' scorecards, but Lofton's record is now even. He's 1-1, 1 KO, and Jules is 3-0. Of course, Lofton last year was one of our top rookies of the year. He was an honorable mention there, as he had a really good rookie performance, and there's a 1 bout from last year. Really a solid performance. It looked like he fought well here, but a tough break for him as he lost that one. So Martino Jules, by the way, as I said before, is 3-0. Also, this past Saturday, February the 10th, in the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 3 Beltway boxers on that. Well, actually, 2 Beltway boxers on that card. That was DeMarcus Chop Corley. He lost an 8-round unanimous decision to former world title contender Hammerin' Hank Lundy of Philadelphia. This was a really good bout. I had a chance to see that thanks to Mark Abrams' Fight Night Live. It was on Facebook and for free, and it was really a good card. A pretty good card all the way around, actually. But Corley and Lundy they split the first 2 rounds, but Lundy really did take control the rest of the way. He ended up dropping Corley, kind of a push more so than a knockdown in the 4th round. But Lundy deservedly would go on to win the bout by scores of 78-73 and 79-72 twice. Both men showed extreme class after the bout, especially, I won't say especially, just both men did. Lundy really showed a lot of class toward Corley, and Corley vice versa. Corley admitted that maybe time is finally catching up to him after all these years. I mean, he has fought 80 times now as a pro. This was his 80th pro bout, and he kind of hinted, he didn't go all the way, but he hinted that maybe time is finally, after all these years, catching up to him. So we'll find out. Corley's record now 50, 29-1, 28 KOs. And Lundy, who's 34 years old, he's now 29, 6-1 with 14 KOs. So again, a good performance. Really, it was a good performance by both men. They really showed the old school way of how it's done. Meanwhile, on that same card, Baltimore, Maryland heavyweight Hassan Gold-Blooded Rahman Jr. won a 4-round majority decision over late sub Ronnie Hale. Now, this bout was kind of interesting because, number one, Rahman went the distance for the first time in his young pro career. He had won his first 3 bouts all by first-round knockout. And he was really seemed to be having difficulty with the pressure that Hale brought to the contest. He really did. He won the fight with a little bit more output. It was really kind of close because one judge did score 38-38 and the other 2 judges scored at 39-37. One judge had a shutout for Rahman. I don't see how that happens at all. And it turns out that after the bout, we found out that Rahman had been battling pneumonia. He had a cold, and that led to pneumonia. So he really was not at his best physically going into the bout. And Ronnie Hale was a late sub going into that bout as well. I think he took the bout on really less than 24 hours notice. So it was a bad combination that Rahman, to his credit, fought through and was able to get the victory out of. So again, Rahman's now 4-0, 3 KOs. Hale is 3-11, all 3 of his wins by KO. But it was a tough combination that Rahman did get by, and he's able to definitely he'll be recovering and moving on to bigger and better things down the road. So we'll see what happens there. Meanwhile, at the the Hartman Arena in Park City, Kansas, DC heavyweight Maurice Freight Train Byram made a successful return to boxing after an almost 6-year absence. He hadn't fought since 2012. He scored a first-round TKO over Richard Silverback Carmack of Kansas City, Missouri. Now, Byram came in at a pretty good weight, around 240 pounds or so. Carmack came in at 364 pounds, which is the heaviest he has been. And in every bout that Carmack is in, I looked at his record, he has been over 300 pounds going into the ring. Now, he's just a big guy, I guess, but he was just way heavy in this case. I know, again, heavyweight, you don't have to cut weight. I get that, but come on, 364 pounds. And so Byram just teed off him at will, according to reports. Dropped him twice before the bout was stopped at 134 the first round. So Byram back in the mix. He's 14-2-1, 10 KOs. Carmack falls to 15, 13-1, 12 KOs. So those are the events that took place this past week. We have a big event coming up this Saturday, and that'll be at the Don Haskins Center in El Paso, Texas. That's Thomas Top Dog Williams, and he'll be in a bout there on Saturday, February the 17th. And I'm actually trying to find my notes on that. Here we go. Saturday, February the 17th, he'll make his return against Humberto Velasco Torres of Aguas Calientes, Mexico. And again, that'll be at the Don Haskins Convention Center in El Paso, Texas. Now, Williams is 20-3, 14 KOs. Turned almost 1 year to the day since he last fought. He lost a 6-round TKO to Marcus Brown back on February the 18th in Cincinnati, Ohio. So wish him well. And again, his first bout since the passing of his stepfather, Jerry Peterson. So again, we definitely wish him well going into this bout. I believe it is, I'm not sure if the bout will be scheduled on TV, but it is part of a televised card that I believe is on FS1. I'll have to double check that. But that is on Saturday, February the 17th. It's coming Saturday in El Paso, Texas. Once again, also Saturday, February 24th, Jamal Dyer, the co-rookie of the year, will be in a card at the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. That's on Saturday, February 24th. And on Saturday, March the 3rd, at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, the other co-rookie of the year for 2017, Beltway Boxing Rookie of the Year, Antoine Russell, will be in a card at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. He'll be on the undercard of the Deontay Wilder Luis Ortiz bout. That'll be on Showtime that night. Russell, of course, 3-0, all three of his wins by first-round KO. He'll be in a scheduled six-round bout against an opponent to be determined. Also in that card will be DC welterweight Chingiz Khan Tazabai, and he'll be in the sixth rounder for the first time. He is 5-0, 2 KOs, of course, originally from Kazakhstan. He last fought on August 12th and won a 4-round unanimous decision over Robert Hill at the Howard Theater in D.C. And, of course, again, as we said, Deontay Wilder takes on Luis Ortiz. Jamal Charlo battles Hugo Centeno Jr. for the interim WBC middleweight title. And a bout that is a rematch from a card that took place right here in our area at the MGM National Harbor in Oxon Hill, Maryland, back on May 20th. Andre Durrell will defend his interim IBF Super Middleweight Championship in a rematch against Jose Uzcategui. And Durrell won that bout at the MGM National Harbor when Uzcategui was disqualified for hitting Durrell after the bell in the 8th round. And, of course, after the bout was over, Uzcategui was punched by Leon Lawson, who was one of Durrell's handlers. I think he was his uncle. And Lawson was suspended indefinitely in Maryland. So that'll be on Saturday, March the 3rd at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. And then, of course, on Saturday, March 10th in California, at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. Mike, Yes Indeed Reed will be in the car about there, the televised bout on ESPN, and we will talk more about that in the next couple weeks. We've talked about it throughout the last few weeks, but big bout coming up for Mike, Yes Indeed Reed. That'll be on Saturday, March the 10th in Carson, California. Now let's go to the amateurs. And, of course, the Washington Golden Gloves Championship Tournament begins this coming Saturday, February 17th at Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. Now, the entire bout sheet is on my blog, boxonthebeltway.blogspot.com, so you'll be able to read that. But let me give you the schedule for the Washington Golden Gloves Championship Tournament. Again, the preliminary bouts begin Saturday, February 17th. At 7:30 p.m. Rosecroft Raceway. All preliminary bouts, general seating is $20 for that, and that goes for all the preliminary bouts, which take place on February 17th, February 24th, and March the 3rd, and all events take place at 7:30 p.m. So once again, the preliminary bouts begin Saturday, February 17th, February 24th, and then Saturday, March the 3rd. The semifinals take place on Saturday, March the 10th, and Saturday, March the 24th. Once again, that's Saturday, March 10th, Saturday, March 24th. That's for the semifinals. The Washington Championship Finals, if all goes well, we'll be broadcasting that live on the Box on Beltway Google app for Android. We're looking forward to doing that. We'll be on Saturday, April 7th at 7:30 p.m. That's Saturday, April the 7th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Washington Championship Finals. Then the regional championships will take place between Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Delaware, taking on Virginia, North Carolina, will be on Friday, May the 4th. Once again, that's Friday, May 4th, 7:30 p.m. at Rosecroft. So that's the regional championships. So once again, the Washington championships, Saturday, April 7th at 7:30 p.m. The regional championships will be on Friday, May 4th at 7:30 p.m. And that'll be the Washington Golden Gloves Championship Tournament. So hope you can be there for all that. It should be a lot of fun as always. And again, the Washington Golden Gloves are one of my favorite amateur tournaments only because it gives us an opportunity to see who is next, who is coming up, who are the next people to talk about. And of course, last year, Keyshawn Davis won a National Golden Glove Championship. That was the first time a Beltway boxer had won one since 2014. So we're back on track with that. We have a lot of great boxers that have won the National Golden Gloves over the years out of the Beltway. Now, this coming Sunday, February the 18th, two local Beltway boxers will be in a tournament in Bulgaria. Now, recently, we talked about how Troy Isley out of Alexandria, Virginia, was going to be in a dual meet against Ireland, 3 dual meets, as a matter of fact, in Ireland in March, in New England, 2 in Massachusetts, 1 in New Hampshire. Now, Isley, who is a member of the U.S. Boxing Elite High Performance Squad, he is now in Sofia, Bulgaria, for a tournament known as the Stranja Tournament. It's in his 68th year, and he'll be involved with that along with the members of the USA Boxing Elite High Performance Squad. And as we said before, Isley's had international experience, winning a bronze medal at the 2000 World 2017 World Championships in Hamburg, Germany back in September. Now, we found out that Keyshawn Davis, we just talked about him, Keyshawn Davis will also be on this trip, and he'll make his international debut in this tournament. As we said before, Davis won a National Golden Gloves Championship in May 2017. He makes his very first trip as a member of the USA Elite Team, which is actually made up of 6 men and 6 women. So it should be interesting, very interesting to see what happens. The tournament takes place from February 18th through February 26th, and we'll be following their progress throughout the tournament here on Boxing Along the Beltway. So best wishes to Troy Isley and Keyshawn Davis, who are involved in a big tournament in Sofia, Bulgaria. That's a great thing about these amateurs. The elite ones starting to really see the world, and of course they make their plans for Tokyo in 2020, which leads to the next story that I'm going to read today, because there's a possibility, and I gotta say it's a possibility, that there may not be amateur boxing in the 2020 Olympic Games in Tokyo. There is a major story that has come over the last couple weeks, and many people have talked about it, that is a possibility that the International Olympic Committee may drop boxing from the Olympic Games in Tokyo in 2020. This is a story from Kareem Zidane from Zidane Sports, appeared on bloodyelbow.com. And actually, a lot of people have made stories on it. I'm just happening to read this one. Let me just read the story off the bat here. It says, quote, following an executive board meeting in Pyeongchang ahead of the upcoming Winter Games, the Winter Games are going on right now in South Korea, the International Olympic Committee expressed its dissatisfaction with the Amateur International Boxing Association, that's AIBA, and shared its concerns over the governing body's financial mismanagement and questionable choice for leadership. Now, according to the article, the controversy began in 2016 when AIBA was plunged into a series of scandalous corruption allegations at the Rio 2016 Summer Games. There were a number of boxing matches that took place during that Rio, and I remember watching a few of them myself, that the decisions were just ridiculous. And of course, one boxer in particular, of course, it happened to Antoine Russell in his bout. I don't know if it was part of that was part of the corruption allegations, but one bout in particular, there was an Irish boxer. I think he's now a pro, and it was no question he won the bout, and he got totally jobbed in that situation. The Guardian newspaper out of England reported through senior executives for the governing body of amateur boxing that match fixing could have factored into several boxing matches in the 2016 games, including the medal matches. And some claim that a network of corrupted officials decided to score on certain bouts. Now, in October 2016, AIBA has suspended all 36 officials involved in the Rio Olympics pending an investigation. And by early 2017, the Special Investigation Committee had deemed that there had been lack of, quote, proper procedural norms, unquote, and a host of other issues that likely impacted the, quote, in competition best practice. That's one again, according to the article written by Kareem Zidane. Less than a year later, the controversial president of AIBA, Wu Ching-kuo, was suspended from his role after allegations of financial mismanagement and widespread corruption surfaced. The 70-year-old Wu had been accused of financial negligence after accumulating 15 million Swiss francs worth of debt through questionable management practices. He was also accused of trying to remove AIBA's committee members who questioned his authority. Now, Wu was removed as president of AIBA. He was replaced by a man by the name of Gafur Rakimov. Rakimov is from Uzbekistan, and he was the longest serving vice president within AIBA. He's promoted to the position of president recently. This came less than a month after Rakimov was named, now get this folks, he was named one of Uzbekistan's leading criminals by the U.S. government. Apparently, he was allegedly involved in the heroin trade in Uzbekistan. Oh boy, can't get out of each other's way. The U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control has since frozen its assets in the United States and prohibited U.S.-based businesses from conducting financial transactions with Rakimov. Following Rakimov's controversial election, an IOC spokesperson, the International Olympic Committee spokesman, revealed that the Olympic Committee was, quote, extremely worried about the governance in AIBA. The IOC then took the decision to freeze all upcoming financial payments and contracts associated with AIBA and hinted that the sport could be removed from the 2020 Olympics. Now, the representative says that the IOC reserves the right to review the inclusion of boxing in the programs of the Youth Olympics in 2018 and the Tokyo Olympics in 2020, excluding the ones on a working level necessary to implement the respective IOC decisions. That's a quote. So right now, it is kind of unclear, although the AIBA is saying that they are confident that the sport will be in the games in Tokyo. They've told another media outlet, BBC Sport, that it will, quote, satisfy the concerns of the International Olympic Committee. Pat Fiacco, who is a member of the AIBA Executive Committee, said, quote, we are working in partnership with the IOC to ensure that correct all the mismanagement issues from the previous AIBA leadership that has created these problems. He goes on to say, we will ensure that we will satisfy the IOC concerns. We are confident the great sport of boxing will not be removed from the Youth Olympic Games in 2018 and the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. So this is something that we have to really watch because we have a number of boxers in our area, for example, in the Beltway, who are looking towards that. I know Troy Eyes is looking toward it. Possibly, I would guess Amelia Moore, especially after the great year she had in 2017. She's looking at the Olympics in 2020. Keyshawn Davis could be looking at 2020. Lorenzo Simpson looking at 2020. Just to name a few. And it's a scary situation. It really is a scary situation that boxing, which has been held at the Olympics in every Olympiad with the exception of Stockholm, Sweden in 1912, because Sweden has banned boxing, and that was one of the reasons why Ingemar Johansson, for example, had to come to the United States to box, because the boxing was not allowed in Sweden. I think to this day it is still not allowed in Sweden. So that's the only Olympiad that boxing has not been a competition. So when you look at that and look at the possibility here, and again, AIBA can't seem to get out of its own way right now. Again, you hire somebody who was corrupt, and then you replace him with a guy who's one of the leading criminals in Uzbekistan. I mean, that just makes no sense to me. So that's something we'll monitor throughout the next few months and see what happens. But again, if it's a situation where there is no boxing in 2020 and they find out early enough, don't be surprised. You see a number of boxers start turning pro early, not only here in the Beltway, but around the country, especially when it comes to the United States. And that could change a lot of situations in the sport. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you posted on that. So once again, don't forget the Washington Golden Gloves premieres on Saturday, February 17th from Rosecroft Raceway in Fort Washington, Maryland. All tickets, general seating $20. Make sure you're there. I'm looking forward to being there. It should be a great event. No question about that. Once again, Beltway Boxing News and Notes brought to you by Real-Time Pain Relief. You go to freepainoffer.com, buy $10 worth of Real-Time Pain Relief. You get a free $10 tube of Real-Time Pain Relief. Rub it on. The pain is gone in real time. Once again, if you are so inclined, you like to sponsor or get an advertisement read on the podcast, please email me, beltwayboxinghotmail.com, and we'll arrange the details on that as well. So hopefully you'll be inclined to do that. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'm Gary Digital Williams. Reminding you as always, keep supporting the best boxing in the world. in the world. Excuse me. The best boxing in the world, the boxing along the Beltway. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.